Sonny, Joey, 500. Got some goats in the building.
Get ready for a shakedown.
Prepare for a shakedown. We from Philly where they clap like huddles when they break down. Get ready for a shakedown. We underdogs, my guy. Kinda used to all the hate now. Prepare for it, man. Y'all get it. My QB got swag. My wideout is award winning. His fly was fly. Joey and 500. Like and subscribe. Yeah. Here's a quote you can sing back. Shake squad up and don't be a dingbat. It's a shakedown.
Don't you frown. Here comes the shakedown.
Let's go.
You like the way King Dingbat here. Welcome to the Philly Shakedown podcast with Philly 500 and the better man Joey Shakes. What is happening, my man?
Just chilling, man. We're getting through the last bit of, mini camp's over now, and we have less than a month till training camp, and we're just waiting now for the competition to begin. Finally,
that's right. Get that competition started. We would have started earlier. I fell asleep. I was working in my garage today. It was hot. I fell asleep. Next thing I know, it's like after 5 my time. And I'm like, oh, no, I'm supposed to be on my show. So I apologize for the late start, but we are here nonetheless. And let me say what's up to everybody in the chat. Jonathan Cook, what's going on? John Jones, James Vanover, Lucius, the show, Floby, Ronnie Taylor, Kyle, Jordan, Daniel, anybody, New Zealand Philly fan, what's going on? Trayvon Dixon, what's up? Dez, Willis, Fitness Roofer, Mike, Foster, Mav, what is going on? No angry things on Matt's tweet. What about that? JJ Rock, remember for 13 months, he goes, can this message get here any or can this season get here message? Can this season get here any faster? It is going to be a long month. Like a long month and a half. Get ready. It's going to feel like a whole entire other all season now. With the Eagles done until what? Training camp, really.
Yeah, I mean, and to see if there's any moves that are going to happen between now until training camp, maybe to fill out the roster, which I think right here you're about to talk about. So
yeah, right. And they did make a move yesterday. We should bring this up. I don't know how much it's going to mean, but John McMullen wrote this. Pound Eagles signed a slot cornerback, Perry Nickerson, after his tryout this week. Mentioned the interaction between Nick Sirianni and Nickerson from practice on Thursday was clearly making an impression. And so Fangio knows him too, right? He was with him in Miami, was it? Last year?
Miami last year. I think he had his most snaps. He played 5 games. His most snaps at 45 to 48 snaps was the Eagles and Miami game, week 7 last year. He was with the Jags, Packers, Vikings, and the Dolphins last year. A 2018 6th-round pick from the Jets. That's pretty much it. So this is, I think, the first. Yeah, like you said, this is the. We went to free agency like he's going to get a bunch of guys from Miami. That's what we thought. But this is totally different now. Like this is the only guy that he's gotten. He's been in connection with. He's actually coached, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And Daz asked the question that I was going to really kind of talk about to start the show. Why are we signing so many cornerbacks? I mean, we are deep in corner. I mean, I don't know how they're going to keep all these guys. And then to see them come into minicamp, which we just had, and then try to throw James Bradbury at safety. And we did, I think, talked a little bit about it on Tuesday. What are your thoughts on what they did with Bradbury? Then, of course, he gets hurt. I mean, is that something that do they really want to put this guy at safety, or do you think it's possible that it was all designed to make him look more valuable for a trade?
I don't know. It's hard to tell right now. I mean, it's post-June, so you're figuring they're trying to try to build him up a little bit. I think they're thinking to themselves, okay, well, they know they have the future at cornerback right now. They know that James Bradbury is not a long-term answer in Philadelphia. So to be honest, Philly, I have no idea what they're going to do. If what I think that what they're going to do is I think they're going to try to trade him, but it's, maybe they're going to wait until preseason. They're going to wait pretty close until that deadline, a few weeks before the season starts. And really, you have to look at injuries from other teams. The things do happen around the league. But for me, like, the last thing I want to do is leave Quinyon Mitchell redshirting this year. And, this is the opportunity now when you get to training camp, joint practices, preseason, throw these guys to the fire, give these guys as many reps as possible. Okay, so I'm hoping that he is gone, but to throw him at safety, I think they know how much talent they have at cornerback, and they really can't waste it. So that's where I'm at.
I think it was a ploy. I think they said, let's put Bradbury at safety, get him reps there, look like he could play multiple positions in a secondary, and it'll maybe give us more trade options with him during preseason. I don't see how you can keep Bradbury at this point, not with the way Isaiah Rodgers and Ringo have looked, let alone what you've got from your rookies as well. So I think Bradbury and at least one other guy that we like is going to have to go during training camp.
And who knows? I mean, one of those guys could come back to the practice squad. They could make it through waivers. So you never, the Eagles are going to want to put the guys, the Eagles are going to want to put like certain good players that they have to let go in waivers so that a specific team won't pick them up. So, we'll see what happens, but it's going to be crazy.
I don't know, man. I don't know how it's going to work, but I really don't want to go through a year where you have Quinyon Mitchell and DeJean riding the bench. I think it's a waste of time. I do. I think those guys need to be on the field. I don't know how you do that if you're going to keep Isaiah Rodgers on the outside. I really wish they would put him inside, and let's see what he could do. D-Love, thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, name your starting secondary on the Eagles this year. By the way, I'm concerned about the backup wide receiver spot. I think and we'll talk a little bit about the receiver spot later, because I think that third spot is wide. Wide open. To be. It is. It's wide open. So I would say my two outside corners just starting right now. I'll tell you what I think the Eagles are going to do. Not so much what I would do, because it's not the same. But I think what the Eagles, it looks like it's going to be Slay and Rodgers on the outside, and then it looks like Avonte Maddox in the slot, and then it looks like CJ and Reed at safety. That's what it looks like. That's not what I would do, but that's what it looks like if we base things on minicamp and OTAs.
Yeah, I kind of said the same thing when the last shakedown. I pretty much said, like, I think Isaiah Rodgers could start over Quinyon right now, because he's just, he's been in the league for a few years, and when we get these full pads on, if Isaiah Rodgers looks that good, you legitimately have a starting cornerback in Isaiah Rodgers on this team right now. He's got a chip on his shoulder. The Eagles are the only team that had interest in him when he was going on that suspension, and he's ready to avenge himself back into the league. So it's I don't want to sit Quinyon, but they have to, I'm not really worried about DeJean too much. I think as camp goes on, they will move him around more. He's only played inside corner, so they haven't really moved him to safety at all.
I think it's coming. I think it's coming during camp at some point. I'm going to be waiting every day for it. Dre Diesel, thank you for the super chat. He goes, what's up, boys? 500, I blame you. Hey, everybody else blames me. What did I do now? I watch you on Dead Silly Show, and he's all over YouTube. I hate it. I can't stand that. That has nothing to do with me. I don't know why, but man, if I'm watching a video, it could be about anything on YouTube, and every time it's over, you know how YouTube automatically plays another video? It always goes to Jacob Media. I'm like, why does it always go to this? I was watching something on Sonos soundbars, and then it gets done and it goes to Jacob Media. I'm watching something on upcoming iPhone or whatever it is, and it always goes to Jacob. So I think YouTube is just pushing him. It is not my fault. Blame Mark Holmes maybe, but not me. Not me. Let's see. Starting off with Hurts, Barkley, Brown, Devontae Smith, Campbell, Ross, Anaya Smith. Yeah, I mean, listen, the offense. We'll talk about the offense in a little bit here. I want to stick a little more on the defense, because I think that the battle at camp is in the secondary. I mean, I think I think Slay's gone. I'd be surprised if Slay was on this team by week 3, week 4. I would. I think he's going to get traded camp. I think that was the plan. I really believe that they put him in safety just to give him looks so that they can try to up his value. And then I think another guy is going to have to go. It's going to be somebody like Avonte Maddox, Eli Ricks. Somebody else is going. You just have too many corners,
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
I would love my dream scenario would be Slay on the outside, and I think you keep Slay one more year because I think you still need a veteran presence. But I would love it where it's like Slay and then like Quinyon Mitchell on the outside. That's what I would like. Isaiah Rodgers in the slot, and then DeJean and CJ at safety. That's what I want to see. But I don't know that we will.
Yeah, I mean, your first 2 picks have to play. I mean, that's what I know. I mean, if your 2 picks are redshirting, that's a huge problem.
Yeah, 500's playlist is all. Listen, it used to be a lot of stuff that just is not even existent on YouTube anymore. You cannot find. Maurice Steele, thank you for super chat. Goes, if Vic's system does not work out in defense, we need to try to go get Steve Wilkes. I'm hoping that if it doesn't work out, that we will change the whole philosophy on defense.
Yeah, I'll be done. This is like the last straw. I don't care if it's the first year; it's the last straw. If we don't even look somewhat competent playing this role, this scheme, then make changes.
Right. Dre Diesel says, "I feel like Josh Sweat role will change. What do you guys think?" I don't know. I mean, but Josh Sweat's got to have a good year. Like this is a guy that we're relying. I mean, we're counting on Josh Sweat to be a double-digit sack guy, as far as I'm concerned. With Reddick gone, that puts more pressure on Sweat. Sweat's only had 1 double-digit sack year. He fell off last year, so I do have my questions about Sweat. I think he needs a big year.
Everybody fell off last year. That's why I can't really. Besides Reddick's numbers, I can't say that. I can't take one specific guy. Like everybody's statistics went down last year because we never hit home last year,
except for Son Reddick, and then we trade him. We let him go.
He still hasn't signed his deal. He hadn't shown up to mini camp. I mean, we talked about this last week. Still hasn't signed anything yet.
Yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, the whole situation with Reddick is
weird.
It's really weird. I mean, when Salah's like, I haven't even seen the guy. It's like, wait, what? You haven't talked to him or seen him? That sounds crazy to me.
I've never seen
so,
that.
Yeah, it's something bizarre is up. There's no doubt about it. And but no, I mean, listen, I think the secondary as a whole, there's going to be interesting to see how the battles play out, but I think it's going to be a pretty good secondary. And I like the linebackers too. Like, I think the Devin White signing has already paid dividends. Like, Devin White looks like a different guy. Did you see what he said at the press conference?
About Vic? He talked about Vic?
Just about himself. About being like, he's like, I didn't handle it good last year. I was worried about the business. I was worried about the money. I was basically worried about all these things. And I just didn't go out and play. He's like, and that was on me, and that was a mistake, but I've learned from it.
Yeah, he wanted out of Tampa Bay the last couple of years. I mean, he got hurt during the Eagles game last year, the first game, and then he kind of just got benched the rest of the year. And I don't know, maybe there was something going on behind the scenes. He just wasn't, mentally just right, and just wanted to get either more money or just wanted to go to another team and get traded. It just sounds like he wanted to get traded the last couple of years. So, to kind of reinvent himself in Philadelphia, new place, new players around him. And he has not moved from linebacker. He has not moved from the starting spot at all since the first day of OTAs.
Yeah, and he ain't moving because he's going to be a stud. He is going to be a stud. And he's look. Listen, I know it's camp and OTAs and even rookie minicamp. I mean, there's no tackling, there's no hitting. It's pretty much passing. It's just all passing stuff. But he's looked pretty good. Broke up some plays. He's made his presence known. So I think him. And I said this, him and Mekhi Becton are 2 guys. If you think about it, if you both those guys seek the Eagles out. They seek the Eagles out. If both those guys pan out and play up to their potential, you have two franchise players right there. You have two franchise players that
Yeah.
we got out of nothing, from nowhere.
Yeah.
And Becton looks really good by all accounts right now.
Yeah. Like, there's only so much you could put into OTAs and minicamp, just because, like, you don't put much into defensive linemen because you don't have full pads. You're not being physical. You're not going after the quarterback. You know, those reports you talked about last week, like, oh, it would have been a sack or whatever. It's just, it's nonsense. But
Right.
I think a third story, and those are two stories that are gonna look really good for getting two players for nothing that are relatively young. But I think John Ross is another story that,
Right.
he's another guy that's like, I shouldn't have retired. His son is the reason why he came back to the NFL. He coaches, I think, his son's team or something like that. That's another story where, if I think wide receiver wise with John Ross would be great. I think particularly Kellen Moore could be using a few guys in certain situations. Johnny Wilson could be used for red zone. They could be using specific wide receivers, for specific plays. Maybe they'll use a multitude of receivers. So we'll see how that goes. But I think the John Ross thing is good too. But more promising, it is Devin White. And Mekhi Becton, Lane Johnson says naturally he's playing good at guard. He's been the backup tackle, guard. He's been the first guy as the backup at every offensive line position, so it's been great.
I got a feeling Becton's going to be a big part of this team this year at guard. I just got a feeling. Maurice, thank you for the super chat. Because did we just sign a new cornerback from Miami? We did. We talked about that early on. Parry Nickerson is who we got from the Miami Dolphins, I believe. He was with Fangio. Guy's 30 years old. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. I think it'll be hard to make the team.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, Guppy to Wolfman, thank you for super chat. Goes, yo, happy belated birthday, Philly, man. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. I see some people in the chat talking about Slay and moving on from Slay. I think the only reason I think you keep him is because I think you have to have some sort of veteran presence, in the secondary or at corner, just in case things get a little crazy.
Yeah, he talked about he had a podcast a couple days ago. Last year I was just a big fan of Slay last year and his podcast. We all know that. He talked about last year almost going to Baltimore, that his mind was set of going to Baltimore. And the one phone call that he got that made him come back to Philly was from Big Dom. Big Dom just got the big promotion from Jeffrey Lurie as the coaching. So he got, I forgot what it was called, but he got this big promotion, pretty much a promotion. So entirely he can't be kicked off the field for anything that happens. So I think they gave him a pay raise maybe, and just
he's part of the coaching staff on game day or something like that now.
Mm-hmm.
So they can't kick him off, and he definitely believes or deserves to be there. So when we need somebody to actually play and fight, we got Big Dom, because in that 49ers game, I'm sorry, he was the only guy that showed up.
Yeah, it's pretty sad.
But what you said, but Dom called Slay about, I didn't hear this. So.
Yeah. So he said on the podcast, he said that, Slay was going to Baltimore. It was happening. It was because I remember his wife went on Twitter and was like really, she must have had a disagreement with him, or she got pissed off or something like that. So he says that he's like, the one thing that made me come back to the Eagles, like Dom called me. He's like, you got to come back.
Really?
You got to come back. Yeah. And that's what he said. And that, I guess that was the only reason why he came back, I guess. I don't know. He got more money. He came back. And then as the season started, as the downfall really started to happen, it just got worse. Slay was getting called out for, these corners not being physical enough. And he kind of got, triggered by it a little bit. And it got worse down the pipeline. It was like we got this playoff game in Tampa Bay, and and Slay goes on a podcast, or it was an interview or something. He was like, "Oh, I'm glad we're not going to be home because I don't want to be, playing in front of these Eagle fans. Like, I don't know. Like, I didn't like some of the things that were said. I already don't even like that these players have podcasts and they should just play and not run their mouth all the time about everything. Or, when Slay has a good game and the team plays bad, he's like, oh, I had a good game. And, it's just like, who cares? Like, no one cares. Come on now.
Yeah, well, it's just one of those things you got to deal with. I mean, listen, look at that. The Cowboy fans, they're losing their minds with Parson and his podcast. I think it's hysterical. But I don't know. I don't know. Those podcasts, I like half listen to them. I don't even listen to them that much, to be honest with you. I just don't care.
I don't go on his channel and the clips just pop up and I just watch it for like the 10-second, 15 seconds that someone takes out of it, and you're just like, it's not, some of it's not even out of context, like, because I believe what some of these guys are saying, but I don't know.
Yeah. Paul Fetter, thank you for super chat. He goes, Sirianni 95% chump. They trashed 95% of the offense. That takes us to a whole other issue.
Don't start me.
Jalen Hurts comes out, goes to press conference, says that basically 95% of the offense is new, which I absolutely am glad about. But it didn't sound like I don't know. It didn't sound like he was all that enthused with Nick Sirianni. What is your take on that?
I hate that month. Look, I can believe right now that there was a disconnect between the players and the coaches last year. We heard from, Kenneth Gainwell said that on a podcast like a few weeks ago. Like, there was, dude. Like, we all know this. Like, when did we see at the end of the year? When did we see Jalen Hurts talk to Nick, or we seen the coaches really talk to the players? Every time the coaches talked to the players, it was a fight. It was a verbal argument. It was something. People are throwing their hands up. They don't know what's going on. I mean, Jalen Hurts knows that Nick can't run an offense. Simple as that. And you saw what happened last year. Dave Spadaro was taking questions from Eagle fans, and one guy was like, well, what's the percentage of Nick's involvement in the offense? And Dave was like, oh, he does the game plan every week, and the coordinators piggyback off of him. And then we heard the rumors that there was someone close to Jalen Hurts. I guess there was a disconnect between Jalen Hurts to Brian Johnson, and Jalen Hurts tried to change the offense. Let's get the passing game going. Let's work middle of the field. Let's do intermediate passes. And Nick said, okay, and totally just shrugged his shoulders and just put it under the rug, like totally ignored it. Like, the head coach meets with the quarterback every single week by himself, separate meeting, on top of all these other meetings. That's why A.J. Brown's not talking to the media. That's why A.J. Brown, the last game before the Giants game, the last game of the season, he was literally bringing the players together in multiple meetings all week, saying we need to believe in the coaches. Because I totally believe, and I know you believe this, that those players went to the coaches, or a few guys went to the coaches and said something, and they were completely ignored. And it just got worse because we weren't making adjustments. Every time defenses would adjust to our offense, we just didn't adjust back, and it was a complete mess, man.
I have no doubt. The Eagles players went there. A.J. Brown doesn't come out like that and say, like, I'm done. I'm not talking. I'm not. Like, you say that out of frustration. You say that when you've already tried to go talk to somebody and they're not listening. That's when you do it. And if you look at that, just by a lot of the way the players on the sideline looked, Nick Sirianni yelling on the sideline, I think there is no doubt about it. I think Nick Sirianni, I don't know, man. I think he's on a very short leash. Very short leash, dude.
The man is not even in the picture of when they draft a player in the war room. He's not even sitting with them. He's on the left side out of picture.
Nobody slaps Howie Roseman's ass like Nick Sirianni. Come on. Let's be honest here.
It's true though, dude. Like, he's a glorified coach, man. Like, that's it. Like, he makes himself look to be as something else, which he is not. And everybody knows it. And I know it.
Genius. He's a genius. Those wide receiver screens are genius. Let's have Devontae Smith block on a wide receiver screen.
Like that's all you do as a coach. You just walk up and down the field with your arms crossed. Don't say a word unless you just want to yell at somebody. I don't know. Like it just got really bad, and there was nobody to take over play calling. He couldn't give the play calling to someone else. So what they did was, Lurie didn't want to lose the team, didn't want to lose the players saying, I want to get traded. I want out of here. I don't want to deal with this. So they hire their own coordinators. The coordinators hire their own assistant staff. And, Nick's got nothing to do with nothing. And he's going to and there's nothing wrong with being a hands-off coach. There's plenty of them out there with successful teams, but if you know you're bad at something, just don't fail, man. Just don't do what you got to do there.
Yeah, we will see. We will see how he handles things and stuff. It's interesting, but 95% of the offense is new. People are very concerned about Jalen Hurts struggling. Now, this is where I think things get crazy, because I think that the talk of Hurts struggling right now in camp is absolutely ridiculous. And actually, I went back and I was looking, at like older videos from 2 off seasons ago. And when we talked about off season, then we were talking about Jalen Hurts struggling with the offense, struggling. AJ Brown, him, really bad connection. They're not in sync. They're not getting along at practice, OTAs. And this was during OTAs and rookie camp. And then, well, not rookie camp. We didn't have rookie camp then, but just the OTAs. The common thought was that we're struggling, that there's no connection between Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown, even early in minicamp. And then they go on to have a huge year. So I think we have to be really patient. Like all the hate about Hurts is struggling in camp, I think is ridiculous.
You're hiring offensive and defensive assistants that have the one word, experienced. We're not hiring young guys that have had one little job on an assistant staff that has never coached an offense or a position group ever in their career. Like the coordinators have all the control this year. 95% of the playbook is brand new. That's really hard. I mean, that's really tough to put in a brand new offense with a bona fide, really good on paper roster right now. It's probably the toughest thing. Jalen Hurts is used to it. How many coordinators since college that he's had to deal with, the changes that he's dealt with in his career, but he treats every year like he's a rookie. He treats every year like he's a freshman. So, and I think as time moves on during training camp, it will get better. But this 95% of the playbook, and then the other 5% is probably just one screen pass and literally the brotherly shove from Nick Sirianni. Other than that, this is full control from Kellen Moore. And we all know Vic Fangio has full control. There's no question about it. So,
Yeah. No, I hear you. True Eagle says Moore is going to take over one day. We need a head coach that has the play sheet. I think if they replace Sirianni during the year at some point, I think it's going to be Kellen Moore that gets the job. There's no question about that, in my opinion. I think it's going to be Moore.
Yeah, you have to keep. I mean, if you're successful, like if we're overly successful this year, it's not going to be because of Nick. It's going to be because of Kellen Moore and this diverse offense that we're going to have this year. Okay, but you have to keep this. You have to keep this in house. Unfortunately, too bad Kellen Moore was never a head coach, because it would be a lot easier just to keep him around. But since he hasn't been a head coach, tried getting the job in 21 before Nick got the job. I mean, Nick pretty much got the job the way pretty much Doug got the job. Really, it was just like, hey, Frank Reich was like, handed Nick on a silver platter and said, that's my guy. And that's pretty much how he got hired. It wasn't, you know what I mean? I mean, I'd rather him than, what's his face from the Patriots. I didn't want him as the head coach, but we'll see. But you live and you learn. You live and you learn.
Yeah. Nitro says Hurts isn't struggling. Stop painting the narrative. You're wrong every time. What the hell are you talking about? What narrative are we painting? Just because you talk about a subject or a topic that's already out there, that is not coming from us. You could go on Twitter and you could see people talking about it, writing about it, arguing about it. Just because we talk about it doesn't mean we're pushing a narrative, especially when we just literally said we don't believe it. So I don't know how you're saying we're painting a narrative. You can't be scared to talk about things in life that you don't like to hear. You got to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
You can't be afraid. You got to say it. I tell my kids all the time, you don't like something, don't be afraid to talk about it. I ain't afraid to talk about it. Are you afraid to talk about it? Because maybe, just maybe you're worried it's true. I'm not worried it's true, so I can talk about it.
Yeah, and around
Sorry, I
around
just had to say
here,
it.
no, you're good. And around here, we talk about everything. Just because we
Not
talk about
to
something,
ignore it.
it's no, but we don't want to ignore it, because I know people are already asking about it in the comment section. So in the live chat, so everybody's going to want to know about it. We're not trying to paint a picture. We're discussing what
No,
was said and our opinion, and that was it.
It's been in my comments for the last week since minicamp. You can't be scared to talk about stuff. And maybe he doesn't mean us. Maybe he just means in general. And if he does, then I'm sorry. But it's just like I'm not going to be afraid to talk about something.
Sorry,
especially
not
if
sorry.
I don't think it's true.
Sorry, not sorry.
Paul Fetter, thank you for super chat. It was 95% offense means early season losses. That's the one thing you do have to worry about. Oftentimes, when you get a team that puts in a new offense, they struggle early on. And I believe that this season would be going in and the offense will carry the team. You got to wonder, if you're going to have that much of a change, how much will the offense actually struggle? Are you worried about the offense struggling? And thank you, Paul, for super chat.
No, I mean, of course, like if they don't gel, I think the next part to this whole thing is that they have to, they got to start gelling. Like once training camp hits, joint practices, and these guys got to play in preseason. Like there's no, you play for a series and you take off, 4 or 5 weeks. You're not doing that, because if that's the case, I mean, this is another year where, yeah, unfortunately, this is not a shitty year, but it's a shitty situation because now new coordinators yet again. And, hopefully, we're going in the right. I feel like we are going in the right direction. So even if they, if they lose the first game, I hope not, but, they have to pick it up. We'll be able to notice if they're going to pick it up if things just look off. But we'll find out.
Yeah, well, listen, if you are struggling offense early, then to me, you've got to use Barkley. You've got to use that running game often and early and let things settle down until you get into that rhythm of it. But there is a good chance that the offense could be behind. I think they've got to play in preseason though. Like I don't think you can afford to be going all the way down to Brazil and then not be ready to play, dude. You have to play these guys.
Yeah, it's true.
Philly Boy Floyd says, my concern is going to be how the O-line turns out with Kelsey. Well, you know that there's going to be a certain amount of drop-off with Kelsey. I just don't see how there can't be. But, I think as the season goes on, too, I think that they'll be fine. I think in the long run, Cam Jurgens will be a solid center.
Yeah, offensive line is deep right now, and can't wait till the pads get on. And I mean, Trevor Keegan hasn't really practiced that much, so hopefully he gets back. Sidney Brown is running, which is good. So I think he'll be back by training camp. He might be back by training camp, which is another corner coming back. It's gonna be a lot of corners, man.
Right, exactly. Paul Davis goes. Means reps and practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're going to need that. You're going to need it. And fortunately we have had a lot more reps this year already than the entire offseason last year. So that's a good thing. Benjamin says, keep doing you, Joel. Great show. Thank you, buddy. Kellen Moore is smart enough to give the foundation and succeed. Vic's defense is going to be a dagger. The adults are in the room now. Yeah, I mean, that's the sense that I get too, that you have coaches that know what they're doing. You collapse, things start to go bad, they know how to make the adjustments. I think that's a big deal. I do. Yeah. I think it's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Eagle says 500. I don't want Bradbury to start because he's old. He's already hurt. Let our young guys play and develop. Even the young guys make mistakes. You could win games with this offense. I agree. I really think they're trying to trade Bradbury. I do. I think they're trying to trade him. I think they wanted to build up his equity, going into training camp or preseason, and then he wound up getting hurt. So we'll see.
Yeah, you hear from both sides, like from some of the players, like the receivers are excited because they have more freedom. Jalen Hurts is going to have more freedom at the line, which we know that. Even the players that love Vic Fangio, there's structure, there's direction, there's there's just a base foundation of, you know, putting these players in the right positions to be successful and win football games. So I think it's the excitement is definitely there. You know, we'll see where it goes, but
Yeah.
that's good.
The Basement MMA says 500. You nailed it. You can't be worried or scared to talk about stuff because that's your guy. Jalen's my guy too. I hope everything will be fine, and most likely it will be. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be able to talk about things. You know, I don't expect I don't expect Jalen Hurts to come in June and be like and look like he's in midseason form right now. I think that this is where you struggle or where you have things you're trying to work on. It's so hard to tell what he's working on, what he's doing. Like when I hear these guys like Elliott Shore Parks puts up like statistics of the day. He was 20 of 23, 2 touchdowns. Like how do you even
He
like
does that. He does that
count that,
shit.
you know?
He does that
All
shit
the
every
time.
fucking year.
All the
Every
time.
year.
I think it's funny and I think it's entertaining, but I don't put a lot of stock into it. So when I hear people say, "Oh, Jalen Hurts is struggling and all this stuff, and Pickett had a better day," what are you talking about? One throw all day? I mean, what are we really talking about? It's ridiculous.
Philly fans don't care what Elliott Shore Parks what he has to say about camp. All Eagle fans care about him is an apology to Deshaun Jackson. That's all they want from him.
He hasn't done it yet.
No, he's been dipping. He's been disappearing from it. Thinking it's gonna calm down and everyone's gonna forget about it. It ain't gonna be forgotten about. It's not gonna happen.
Paul Fair, David Super Chat. He goes, "If we candy ass this preseason, we're gonna be losing." Well, you know, I gotta think they're gonna play these guys too. I seriously think that they're gonna play these guys this preseason. I mean, you're only playing 3 games, right? So you know, play a little bit game 1, a little bit more week 2, and then you sit them week 3. But they've got to play. I mean, going to Brazil. Dude, do you even understand this whole Brazil thing with the uniform? Like, I keep hearing, like, no, you can wear green. No, you can't wear green. Like, which is it? Like, what's the story? Like, can we wear green or not?
It's against, like, I don't know. It's a color that represents something. I don't know.
What are we going to wear?
I don't know.
We wearing all black?
Maybe.
They better not bring out those old yellow jacket, ugly ass uniforms.
No.
Those were ugly.
Hell no.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with that. It doesn't make any sense to me. You can't wear green. Well, what are we gonna wear? I mean, I guess we have to wear our all black uniforms, right?
Like no green, period. Like no green.
I don't know. I keep seeing things saying that you can't wear green, and then I keep seeing things saying no, that's not true. So I don't know what it is. I don't know which one. But if you can't wear green, then what are you going to wear? Oh, the all black? And what is Green Bay going to wear?
Yeah, they're green as well. All right.
Yeah, I just
let's just play naked. Let's just play naked.
Why would you even send the Eagles and the Packers?
Pause.
If that's the case. Yeah, right. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. You know what's going to happen. We're going to go Friday afternoon, which is ridiculous, on Peacock. Eagles started the season. And, yeah, guess what? They're going to be in green. I'll bet you.
They probably will.
I have no idea. I absolutely hate the Brazil thing. I hate it. What about the white alternate? Yeah, man, I'm still waiting for the white football helmets. I'm telling you, that Minnesota, did you see they released their white?
Nice. They're really nice.
Man. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Dude, what I would give to the Eagles to have.
Yeah, that's like the one that Isaiah Rodgers was wearing when he was like practicing and when he was suspended. That white on white helmet with the white wings.
He's on Peacock. Right, dude. The game is only on Peacock.
It's on Peacock.
Kickoff is on Peacock app. So you'd have to get the app, otherwise you can't watch it. I guess if you're local, but on a Friday afternoon, I'm gonna have to go take off work.
$7.
I hate it. I hate that schedule. I think we promote Nick to front office position, hire Kellen as head coach if he elevates his offense. What if we've done this out there before? What if the Eagles are really good? They win 13, 14 games, get to the championship game. Their offense looks incredible. And then all of a sudden, Kellen Moore is the favorite to land a coaching job. And as the Eagles that he's the one that really helped turn you around offensively, and it wasn't Nick. How do you let him go?
Nick can't tell from a good play to a real fucking pizza, all right? Pizza Hut or a real Italian slice. I don't know. But
yeah, I knew there was a problem with him when he got, Pizza Hut in Philly. I said, if you're ordering from there, there's something wrong with you, dude.
Well, unless he brought his kids there, I don't know.
J62, David Super Chat goes, I don't care if we run Barkley all 4 quarters week 1. Listen, if your offense is struggling and it's going to struggle, that's the best way to get it going. Use Saquon Barkley, especially early on. I have no problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait for camp to start because I still think you have at least multiple moves. I think you have at least 2 trades at camp. And I think one of them is obviously going to be Bradbury in another corner. And then the other thing that's, we should talk about a little bit is the wide receiver. Because, you touched on John Ross a little earlier. It looks like right now Paris Campbell is the guy who's getting the nod at that number 3 wide receiver position.
Mm-hmm.
Anaya Smith is just coming back from injury. So this was like really the first time he actually did anything drill-wise with the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I think John Ross has looked really, really good so far. I think you have a wide open battle at that 3rd wide receiver spot.
No, I do. I believe it. I don't really know. Yeah, I think Campbell could be ahead a little bit, but I think everybody's shown some flash during OTA's mini camp, and if there's not someone that's a full starter, or like I said, they could be using different guys for specific plays. Whether it's whether it's motion, whether it's red zone. Johnny Wilson, had a nice go touchdown, go route touchdown against Isaiah Rodgers for 35 yards, which was great. So he's starting to I really want to see what Johnny Wilson does like downfield, like how much speed he actually has going downfield and just being like a intermediate type guy or short yardage, big chunk type guy. If that's how they're going to use him. So I like the wide receiver group. I do.
We'll have to say. It's nice that Ross is coming out looking good, but he's never really done anything this season. Campbell kind of too. I think Anaya Smith, once he gets going, once he gets his legs under him, I think he's going to rise up the depth chart quick. I really believe that he's going to end up being your start corner or slot wide receiver. I just wonder if they would look to upgrade that position in camp, if they get rid of one of those wide receivers,
Yeah, but you're talking available you're talking about trading. You're talking about trading, or you're talking
about. I'm saying that I look at the wide receiver position as one of those positions where if you're not getting what you want, and I think it's a wait and see. I don't think you can know, but if you're not getting what you want out of your 3rd wide receiver spot, I could see them adding a wide receiver during camp. I could, especially if they're moving on with one of those defensive backs, because I think they're going to trade at least 2 defensive backs.
Oh, I think what we have is probably better than what we've had. Besides like Zacchaeus, that really didn't get an opportunity, in my opinion. But I think what you have in here is a mile ahead of Quez Watkins, and you have pure slot guys that have played pure slot. And some guys that can kick out. And you got to think about the outside too, because God forbid Devontae Smith or AJ Brown has to miss a couple games. So you're going to rely on to play outside. I know that John Ross could do it. Maybe Anaya Smith could definitely do it. I don't see why not. We'll see. Nagata. I don't know. I need to see. He really messed up. Like Nagata was looking good in camp last year, and then he got into these preseason games. He had some crucial drops. He had some fumbles. That really messed up his chances. He didn't really have a chance anyway, but it's going to be interesting, though. It's going to be a big position to watch for.
Yeah. Foster Park says, what the hell is the NFL thinking by putting Eagles Packers in Brazil if you can't wear green? They're going to put the Jets in Brazil next year. I don't know. I honestly don't know what's going on with that. I've heard things like, and I've seen like counters to like what has been said, like, oh, this isn't true. So I don't know what to think. I just hate the whole thing, you know. Splendid says 500 that no green rule is not a rule and is being blown out of proportion. It only applies to their soccer team rival. Where are we wearing green? Stop listening to the tripe. Okay, if you say so, I believe. I mean, I have no idea. All I know is that it's all over the place.
Yeah,
but I'm sure. My guess is they'll both be wearing their uniforms when the time comes. The Eagles will be in green, and they'll be in their white and green. The Packers, that is, and it'll be a Friday afternoon. That's what I'm upset about. I don't care crap. I don't like that it's a Friday on Peacock. I absolutely hate that, dude. I hate it.
Yeah, it's shitty.
Yeah. Frank says, new idea for a shirt. Mahomes looks like a performing the Heimlich on Dak. Yeah, because that would be good because he's always choking. Yeah, definitely. I agree. I like it. Where did Quez Watkins go? Oh, Pittsburgh, right? He's in Pittsburgh now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy. Dylan Jordan, remember for 9 months, says, I still think it's dumb people wanted to trade AJ. You remember that? that wasn't us on here. I never understood the trade AJ thing. I didn't. And I don't understand the bashing of Devontae Smith now. It's like people are going, oh, Devontae Smith is stupid for taking, like Joe Banner, like, oh, he's stupid for not taking more money. Like, dude, it wasn't about all the money for Devontae Smith. People don't realize that Devontae Smith, if he holds out or waits or expects a lot more money, you're not resigning AJ Brown too. I really think people need to understand that Devontae Smith's contract opened up the ability to re-sign AJ Brown as well. It just did, dude. And I don't know how anybody can hate on Devontae Smith.
No, because most players don't do that. You don't have like a Justin Jefferson type player that's going to suck the money out of the team as much as possible and not care what the franchise does. Just give me as much as possible for me to stay or trade me whenever. So.
Yeah. Mav says, Philly, I'll be in Brazil for the game. I may not come back, if you know what I mean. You think that until you get there. I heard things are like crazy down there right now. You might can't wait to get back, or they might not let you come back because you're an American. You might be stuck down there. But we'll see Maverick on the news. Maverick hostage day 122 in Brazil. Breaking news, Dingleberry has been seen handling a resume to the manager of the local McDonald's, Jalen Rager. Yeah, Jalen Rager's the manager now. Where is Rager anyways? Is he still in New England?
Yes, I think so. I thought he re-signed somewhere.
Yeah, I don't remember. Bite of Life says maybe they let Reddick go because they don't agree on terms and he comes back. I don't know what's going on with Reddick. It's a bizarre situation. I did hear that the Jets are going to even look into trading him. Did you see that? That they're going to look and discuss about moving on and trying to trade him?
No fucking.
So, I mean, it's like crazy. Now, the Jets have mandatory minicamp next week. So, we'll see if he shows up for mandatory minicamp or not. That's when we'll know.
Yeah.
Drew, member for 45 months. I'm so glad we have Smitty and not drama queen Micah. We'll have, don't worry, future Eagle Micah Parsons is coming. it's all matter of time. Dude, Dallas has got it bad right now because they got to pay Dak. Now you got Justin Jefferson just got paid. So CeeDee Lamb's going to want even more money. And then you have Micah. They literally have 3 players that want to be the highest paid players at their positions. They're screwed. There's no way they're going to keep all 3 of those guys. I would think, and Micah, not only Micah wants to be paid, he wants to be the highest paid like defensive player.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him.
So he's gone. He's going to be an Eagle. Texas Super Bowl contenders. Yeah, I agree. I really like what the Texans have done. I think that, I think that they're going to be really a fun team to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy. They even got new jerseys.
Yeah, they look really good.
Talks the Cowboys could trade Lamb? Really? That would be something. Now, if it was me, I would probably trade Lamb before I trade Micah. I'm just saying. But it depends. I guess it depends what you think of Micah. A lot of people think Micah Parsons is a one-trick pony. A lot of people think Lamb is a one-trick pony. Lamb plays in the slot primarily. So, who would you trade if you had to trade Micah or Lamb? Which one of those guys would you get?
I think you could, because I don't know, depending on if they're going after they're getting that quarterback next year, just Shador, whatever his name is, if he comes out next year, I think you keep Micah just because I think they could reset, try to get maybe not blow it all up, but try to trade some players, get an extra first round pick, and maybe draft a receiver next year, because they've had their time with Lamb already. I think they need they could do a refresh at wide receiver and give Micah Parsons what he wants. I mean, that's what I would do.
I love the drama. I love the drama. Paul Davis Super J goes, Becton started over Steen last week at guard. Listen, I have a feeling I believe Becton and Devin White are going to be studs. I think they're going to refine their careers. I think they're both going to be all-pro, all-world type players. And I think the Eagles have gotten 2 franchise guys from nowhere. I truly believe that. And I think Becton is going to be a player. You can just tell.
Do you think if Becton does start and play well at guard, do you think he kicks out the tackle when Lane's done in a couple years?
Possibly. I mean, it's possible. Although, I mean, how old is Becton? 24? He's young, right?
Yeah.
I think he's like 24 years old, something like that. So, yeah, if he can play guard, just keep him there. Go
25.
draft yourself a tackle. He's 25, dude. That he could be like 10 years on the line if he works out. I just gotta feel like he was smart. Becton's smart because if I'm an offensive lineman and I want somebody to get my career right, I'm going to Stoutland. I always say this about Stoutland. Stoutland makes bad players decent. Makes decent players good, makes good players all pros, makes all pros Hall of Famers.
Yeah, and you know what?
Becton
said a few things at the press conference the other day and said it felt like, more, he likes it, here better than the Jets. That felt more like family. And he said that he came here because he didn't just sign here because he needed a job. Obviously, you need a job, but he specifically came here because of Jeff Stoutland, which was kind of crazy because I think Jeff Stoutland's being well known now as probably the number 1 offensive line coach in the league that has turned even non-talents to all pros. It's crazy.
There's talk that he's already a Hall of Fame coach as an assistant coach. I mean, Stoutland, if I was an offensive lineman, I would seek out Stoutland. I mean, look at Dillard, right? I mean, Dillard stunk. He stunk. And he got him playing solid, good enough to go get a big contract. And in 1 year, Dillard was out of a job, dude. 1 year. But before that, Stoutland had him playing decently for us. To me, when you look at Becton, I mean, the guy's immensely he's a physical beast. Dude. He's huge. He's talented. You can't tell me that you let a Stoutland mold him. He can't be a good player. No.
Yeah, well, the problem with Dillard too is that they redshirted him his first year because that Jason Peters was still here, so that didn't really help. And then injury kind of took over. Injuries nonstop took over. But once they put him on the left side as like a backup guard, backup tackle, whatever he was, he didn't, on his final year when he was here, he was fine. Like he was all right. And these guys, Joe Opeta got a contract. Like these other guys that have just been these backup roles, like they're getting contracts. They're making their money with other teams.
I mean, Dillard got a decent contract for a guy that was a bust as a first rounder. Plays good his last year, gets a contract. Goes 1 year, was it to Tennessee, and then is out of a job. It's like, dude, Stoutland's that good. And you put a guy like Becton now under him and let him mold him. No, Becton could end up being a 10-year player at right guard right now for us. I really believe that.
Just gotta stay
healthy. And that's not to even I don't want to discount anything from Steen. Steen might turn out to be a great player too. These guys with any amount of talent around Stoutland, they could develop into a really good player. Even the kid they got, Keegan. I mean, I like I always say, whatever the Eagles want to do at offensive line, I have no problem with it. I trust it because it's Stoutland. You know?
Yeah, as a backup offensive lineman for Stoutland University, you have to know more than one position, and that is the rule. So, but with Mekhi Becton, like the Jets tried to turn him from a left tackle to a right tackle for a few years. They tried transitioning him to the other side.
That's really hard for people.
Yeah,
some people.
I remember. I forgot what year was it when Lane Johnson played left tackle that 1 year, and he just didn't look. I forgot what year that was, but he you know.
I mean, when they drafted Lane, the idea was that Lane was going to play right tackle until Peters retired, and then he was going to move over, and they just wind up keeping him at right tackle. So you know, I think it's very valuable to know multiple positions on the offensive line. And if you're under Stoutland, you have to be able to do that. It's a good thing. It's not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I got a feeling that Becton and Devin White are going to be studs and guys. I believe by November, we're going to be like, they better sign Devin White. What are they doing? They better sign him. Like, I believe we're going to be flipping out about it. And I believe those two guys are going to be franchise guys, dude. I do.
Yeah.
Shono says, Jerry thinks it's the 90s again with no salary cap. I know. Jerry stinks. He does. Paul Fetter, thanks again for the super chat. He goes, Baldy said Becton has a push like Jason Peters. Yeah, I mean, you look at him. I was looking at some tape of him. Even with the Jets, there are times where he looks dominant. Like, you can see the talent and you can see what he has, how big he is. I didn't know, wasn't he competing? Didn't Stoutland compare him? Wasn't he? Who was he comparing? Wasn't he comparing him to Brooks?
I think that was Steen. I think that was
it Steen compared to Brooks? Oh man, yeah. But it's great. Yeah, Stoutland will increase the value of offensive linemen. The amount of offensive linemen that have left Philly came in as mid-round picks and then went out as starters, it's got to be like 4 or 5 guys. And just over the course of the last few years. What's up, Princess Gamer? How are you?
Even the other guy from Hawaii, the other guy they got from Hawaii, like they could.
Big V, remember Big V?
The other guy they signed this year, the other dude, the guard that they signed. Luca, I forgot Lu something. It's also an L. It's a long name.
Yeah.
That guy.
And they got that kid Hennessy. We haven't heard much about him.
No.
They bring in the kid from Cincinnati. I forget his name too. 2nd round pick. He's been in the league 6 years. Started quite a lot. You know, I don't know. You put, if I'm an offensive lineman and I'm a free agent, I'm going to try to go to the Eagles. That's where I want to go. Just go put me under Stoutland.
Yeah, I agree.
Colton B says it was Becton and Steen are going to be staples. I agree with you. I think they're going to be staples. But like I said, it was Becton. It was Becton he was comparing to Brooks. Yeah, I thought it was Becton too, but I can't remember. But man, we're hearing good things about Becton. From other players too. I think it's a good sign. Foster Parts, thank you for Super Chat. Goes, not gonna lie, I wish the Eagles would release a whole uniform schedule for the season before preseason and not the week-by-week combo 2 days before each game. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm expecting right around camp, early in camp, we'll probably hear when they're going to wear the 2 green. I expect them to wear the Kelly green twice this year and then the black helmets once because you could do it 3 times and now they added a 3rd helmet. So now the Eagles can wear that all black helmet. Last year, remember, they couldn't wear the all black helmet. This year they can. So I expect it 3 times.
Yeah, they do it as a marketing standpoint too. That's why they don't just say it before the year starts. Because if you have a Kelly Green game, they're going to announce their Kelly Greens like a week prior to the game. They're going to make people go buy Kelly Green jerseys. Like it's a whole marketing standpoint with the uniforms.
The whole stadium is Kelly Green all year long. It was Kelly Green.
It was
people
beautiful.
Are buying Kelly Green more than Midnight Green. It's time to bring it back. JMB, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, Howie owns this team. He is the owner. Sirianni is the dog. Big Dom's the leash. Cannolis are the dog treat. Seriously, Dale, Nick is our biggest liability. It's so true, dude. I mean, it's so true. The cannolis, you leave the cannolis for Nick. He runs around. Big Dom, he's the trainer. Yeah, I love it. I love it. That's hilarious. Paul, thank you for the super chat. He goes, defensive line I'm worried about. That's where my biggest concerns lie still. My biggest concerns lie at the edge rusher. Now, I'm not worried about the tackles. I'm worried about the edge rushers and the ends. We haven't heard anything, and you're not going to hear a ton from the edge rushers and stuff in camp and mini camp. I get it. But man, I haven't even seen anything with Nolan Smith at all. I haven't heard anything. I mean, I worry, very, very worried about the edge rushers on this team.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, I get it. Like the Reddick trade, we talk about it over and over again. I know he's not here. People tell us to get over it. I get it, but you're putting a lot of faith into Nolan Smith that barely was used the correct way last year. Barely had any playing time last year, and Bryce Huff, got 10 sacks off of 1 year in a heavy rotation with 43% of the snaps, and Josh Sweat, is going to be gone after this year, and Brandon Graham is going to retire after this year. So it's like. You're going to have to figure this thing out. Like I'm hoping they get some, some people play well this year. So
we'll see. Aaron Jones, David Super J goes, Calais Campbell now. We don't need any more DBs. Listen, I don't mind bringing Calais Campbell as a backup. But I mean, when you look at your tackles, I do like some of the guys we got. Like of course, Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter to me are the key. But Milton Williams is a guy who many people think could have a breakout year this year. And I think that in the 3-4, you can move him and use him at the defensive end position as well. So to me, I like the tackles. If you want to add somebody like a Campbell, I'm definitely okay with it. But even like a Jomo, like a guy last year, I thought made some plays as a rookie. I really feel good about the defensive tackles, but I'm really worried about the edge rushers because Bryce Huff had 1 season of double-digit sacks. Nolan Smith didn't get enough snaps last year. Josh Sweat, he had an off year last year, and for all the people talking about, Reddick stat chasing, the same accusations were made about Josh Sweat that he was stat chasing as well. So
because there's nothing else they could do because they never ran stunts, they never blitzed, and when they did, they didn't know how to because they didn't practice. They didn't practice being aggressive. I mean, that's not what the defense is. I don't know. Tackling was bad. I mean, I don't know what the hell what these practices looked like last year, but it's a mess.
Yeah. I just sold 13 goats for 1,542 go birds. There you go. I hope you made some money. You're selling goats now? What the hell are you talking about? Am I reading that?
Maybe he does. Maybe he does.
I spoiled 13
Hold on.
goats.
I gotta search. Is spoiled a word for something horrible?
Oh, God.
Hold on.
We've done so good this show.
What is the meaning of spoiled? If a performance, sports event, or other entertainment is sold out, the tickets for heaven. All right, so it's fine. It's not sexual. It's good.
Okay. Well, what does it mean?
It means just selling for money.
Okay. Good for you, man. Go make that money, bro. Show Enough says, I think Jalix Hunt is a sleeper. I'm getting 2 picks. We
didn't talk about.
Let me tell you, Show Enough. Yeah, I don't know. Listen. We only can know so much. I get it, but when I get excited. Pause. No diddy. When we talk about Jalix Hunt, there's something about certain guys that growing up, where every once in a while you just see a guy at the presence, hear him talk, and you're like, that guy's a star. I remember Eric Allen, his rookie year, first time I ever saw him, training camp. I was there, I went with my uncles and my dad, and we were watching Eric Allen. And we all left going, that kid's a player. You knew that practice. Brian Dawkins, same thing. I don't know. Jalix Hunt, for whatever reason to me, I get vibes that there's something about this kid, dude. He just got the it factor. I think he's going to develop into a player.
Smaller school, handpicked by Vic Fangio, is one of his favorites from this
way
draft.
He carries himself or something. I don't know, man. But there's something about that kid. I go, there's something about that kid. I think secretly, I think a lot of people felt it with Jalen Hurts too. Because I think there were, and not so much me. I'll be honest, but I think a lot of people were like, during camp in his rookie year, they're like, yeah, this kid's better than Carson Wentz. There's something about Hunt. I just think he's got something about him. I don't know if it's going to take him a couple years to develop, but there's something about him that I think he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we said this a million times. Like when it comes to OTAs, minicamp, defensive linemen don't get a lot of praise because they're not in full pads. Like they're not rushing anybody, so the physicality is just not there. But
it's not anything performance based because I can't make that judgment. It's just presence. Like you just know somebody. You can just. There's something about somebody sometimes, a feeling you get. I just feel like, man, that kid he has a star factor to him. Maybe he's just got a really good personality, but I don't know, man. There's something about this kid. I'm like, that kid's going to be a star.
Yeah.
Like save this video. The video before the season finale Shakedown. Like save this because in 2 years we can come back to this.
Hold on, Philly. I have a knock on the door real quick. Give me like 2 seconds real fast.
All right, cool. I'll answer some questions. MJ says, question for you guys. Who's your favorite Eagle of all time? I don't know what Joey will say. We'll have to ask when he comes back. For me, it would be Reggie White. Reggie White is my all-time favorite Eagle. He would be my number one. I love Reggie. It would be Reggie. Reggie, Randall, and Dawkins would be my top 3 most likely. So that's where I would go. Let's see here. Trade, no place play. We need to start youth movement. Ringo and Mitch. I mean, I get it. I get the reason we want young guys, but don't you think we need at least some depth? Hunt has all the tools Fangio needs to develop him. Yeah, I agree, Mark. I agree with you, Mark, and it's good to see you, Mark. Yeah, I agree. I think he's got to develop. When I talk about him, I don't think necessarily like I'm not saying rookie year, but give the kid a couple years to develop. There's something about that kid that just I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be good.
I think what you're getting even from guys that I think some of these new ends that you're getting now, especially with Jalix Hunt, is you're going to get that. You're going to get that productivity with in coverage with the guys that have a nice balance as an edge rusher to a guy that's playing off ball. So we'll see, but it's I want to see these guys in action, man. Be great.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Shono says Hunt is dangerous covering the flats. He racks like a safety. He's a former safety, which is crazy. From secondary to D-line wild. Yeah. He is. I was watching the camps, and you could see at one time they were recording him on Twitter, and he was literally screaming and yelling and roaring while he was rushing. I'm like, oh, I like this kid. There's just something about that kid.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I admit I haven't seen him on the field or anything like that. It's just there's just a presence about. I don't know. I got a very good vibe from him so far. JMB, thank you for super chat. He goes, have you seen Sirianni's press conference? And thank you for the super chat, my man. He goes, when he was asked what he does, he stumbled around. What's he on about? Does he seriously think Howie's letting him touch his team? He thinks he's in control. Yeah, he looks like a chicken with his head cut off fucking around.
It's fucking
Sirianni looks lost, man.
It's like, dude, it's like I don't care if he's not doing anything, but just like say just be honest, dude. Just stop trying to make yourself something you're not. And that's a good situational game planner. I don't even know.
Yeah. John Jones says the Flying Dutchman up there, Norman Brocklin, and then Tommy McDonald. Tommy McDonald would be my dad talked a lot about Tommy McDonald. I never got to see Tommy McDonald. I grew up when I first started following the Eagles, it was really like at the end of Vermeil. That's like my first memory is Vermeil crying at the press conference. And then you had Marion Campbell. He came in and we stunk. But I remember Roynell Young and Mike Quick were my two favorites. And then when Buddy came in, and you started getting all that group, that's kind of what I grew up on. And yeah, those are guys I love. But Tommy McDonald, I mean, Hall of Famer. Let's see. Dustin says, Joey 500 in chat. What's going on, man? You love Jaws? Though it's very hard not to like Jaworski. But the only thing about Jaworski is when I close my eyes, I always just think of him getting crushed by Lawrence Taylor. I don't know why, but like my lasting image of Jaws is getting crushed by Lawrence Taylor. But I like Jaworski. But I really saw Jaworski at the end in Philly because I don't know if you know this, Joey, but back when Buddy took over the Eagles, Jaws was the quarterback. And what Buddy had a plan to make a third down quarterback. So on third downs, he would take Jaws out and put Randall in. So Randall would start coming in on third downs. He would come in and it wasn't just to run. I mean, he was coming in to throw. And he kind of started developing Cunningham that way. That's when I really, really remember. I mean, I remember a few years before that with Jaws and Mike Quick and overtime catch by Quick versus Land. Like I was young then, but like it was an interesting time though. But Jaws is great. I've been to his golf course too, which is great. Let's see here. Doug Plank is the one that killed. Yeah, that's right. Doug Plank killed him. I was at the vet for Jaws Randall games. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. My first Eagles game ever that I went to was the game versus the Patriots where Cunningham rushes around the edge and runs like 50 yards. That was it. That was the first one I ever went to. Splenda says 500. That knock on Joey's door was my wife. She snuck out. I could see her behind Joey's chair. He could see the shadow, Joey. The shadow.
Yeah, shadow.
Joey, the question earlier was, who's your favorite Eagle of all time?
As growing up, because during like middle school, elementary to middle school, I didn't really watch football that much. It was like probably 8th grade to early, probably 9th grade. Between that time, I started watching football, like because I played for a long time. But D-Jack was probably my favorite. I mean, I still have his Reebok jersey. I still have his Reebok jersey from years ago, because he was always entertaining to watch. He was just one of my favorite players for. Was he your
first? Was he your first jersey?
He was my first jersey. He was my very first jersey. Yeah.
Mike Quick was my first jersey. Quick. Yeah, because back in the day when we stunk, it was like Mike Quick, and then on the defense there's a corner, Roynell Young. Those were my two favorite guys. And then once Buddy came in and Reggie started coming, and Jerome, Eric Allen, you had Wes and Andre. Man, I just love that defense. Big Rhythms at Philly. Do you watch The Office? I've never seen The Office ever. I've never watched it. I always say I'm going to watch that show, but I haven't. Nick Sirianni is Michael Scott. Horrible manager with cringe behavior, and his employees still get the job done. That's hilarious. Elaine says, have you watched the Phillies in I didn't watch the Phillies in the UK. I followed the game as it was going on, but I didn't watch it. I was cleaning out my garage today. We just had our front and back landscaped, and like I have all this stuff that I'm putting out in the back now. So I was out working. I remember Cunningham throwing the ball out of bounds to stop the clock, and the refs had to go to the rule book to figure out if it was illegal. Free TO either way. He was smart. I love free TO either way. He was smart. Yeah, I love Cunningham. Randall was so much fun to watch, dude. It's just different time back then, but man, there was just nothing like Randall Cunningham. Phillies are great. I mean, Phillies are great. I have to buy the Major League pack. I don't have the MLB package. It's the only thing I have the basketball and I have the football. I need to buy the. I'm gonna buy.
How much is it? How much is Major League?
I don't know. I'm gonna probably after the All-Star break. I'll get it. I mean, I follow every game. If it's on national and I can watch it, I'll watch it or record it. But I would love to stream Phillies because baseball is easy to stream in terms of it's not like fast paced. It's easy to keep up with it. But man, I did the World Series and they copyrighted strike me, dude. And I got it lifted and I won the appeal, but it took a month. It's like I don't want to go through that again. But I would love to do it because it's easy to do. Baseball, I think, is easier than football.
Slow pace.
It is slow pace. You can put up the batting order. So you have your graphics don't constantly change. You're not changing your score every 2 seconds. Like the worst thing about basketball to me is that the scoreboard changes every second. So you can't keep it up. Football, you got to change it. Sometimes it gets annoying, but baseball, I would love to stream it. I just don't want to get copyrighted strike.
I get it.
ACP Baller, my man, what's going on? He goes, Philly Wilbert Montgomery is all time. He's great. Yeah, I mean, he's one of those guys that were like great right before I really start remembering Wilbert Montgomery. He played. That was like when they went to Super Bowl, I was 5. So they went in '80. I was 5 years old. I don't really remember it. What I remember about the Eagles, and getting very emotionally attached, was watching Dick Vermeil cry at the press conference when he left. That's when I really first remember. And then Marion Campbell took over from that. But Wilbur Montgomery, when I watched his tape, dude, he looks like Brian Westbrook to me. That's what he reminds me of. So yeah. We got to send Howie. I got to send Howie a shirt. We got to send Gene a shirt. We got to send Q a shirt because the Q stuff is coming next.
Yes.
Abilene Christian. Is that where that's Jalix Hunt came from, right? Or no, is that where I think that's where Wilbert Montgomery played. Yeah. I don't know if he's in the Eagles Hall of Fame or not. That's a great question. Brian says they got better, faster. Phillies are historic run this year. All Philadelphia sports from now till 2026 o'clock. Yeah, they are. I mean, they look great. The only thing I worry about the Phillies is I still feel like you need another closer. That's the only thing I worry about. But I'm going to buy the baseball package probably right after the All-Star break because that's when it starts to get to me really, really good. Al B says Wes Hopkins. Loved Wes Hopkins. Let's see here. Philly, I drank in Osbog and some beer. Twitch is lit up today, boy.
He sold his goats and he's
he sold his goats. Now I know what he's talking about. Slagather. He thinks he's on a mountaintop in Switzerland selling goats. Slagather says Dawkins always has been and always will be my favorite. He is for Dawkins is great. I love what Dawkins told Andre Waters. He said, Andre Waters said to him, that's my number, do it proud. And he's like, I will. He's like, I'm going to do you proud. And he did, man. He did. Duncan Wright, welcome. Is this me?
I think it's me. Duncan Wright, thank you for joining the Shake Squad Army, man. Appreciate it so much, dude. Thank you for joining up, man.
Thank you, man. And let's see. What else? Oh, just to let everybody know that next week will be our last our season finale. That's it, right?
Yeah.
That's it for a whole month. We're gonna take off and we'll come back come back like 2 weeks before camp starts. That gives us a week to kind of catch up, and then the next week is a camp preview, and then we're in camp, man. You got any plans for the summer, man?
Yeah, I mean, just going away and upload whenever I can, and take a little bit of break, recharge the batteries a little bit, and get ready for the start of the training camp and for the regular season.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm headed to see my parents in a few weeks. They have their 50th wedding anniversary coming up. So we're gonna celebrate that with them and stuff. So that's what I'm up to this summer. And then my cat is pregnant. So the kittens are coming, baby. I need the kittens here. I'm telling you. JTJ 2K says Devin White will be better than Kaiser. Devin White will be a Pro Bowler, and Dan Celio will not. I will not let up on him too when it happens. I think Devin White returns a Pro Bowl form. The biggest problem is going to be, do the Eagles spend the money on a Pro Bowl linebacker? That's going to be our biggest fear. But I think Devin White's going to be huge for us.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you can't pass up on that if he plays well this year. Even Zach Bond might have a good year too.
Yeah. Frank says, Philly, what do you think is hidden in the maze? He's talking about the show Skinwalker Ranch. I am now beginning to think there is a UFO stuck underneath there or something. How these UFOs, like they show the show, Joey, Skinwalker Ranch, and they've got video of UFOs going into the side of the mountain and then out the side of it. It's bizarre, like legit bizarre stuff going on at Skinwalker's Ranch. I really want to go and be there. But
yeah, go there and vlog it. Go there and vlog it. You're
not allowed. It's private property. But I love that show. That's my show. I joined their whole insider thing, so I watch all the inside stuff. They have like live camera feeds of the whole place. I watch that shit all the time, dude. My wife comes in. It's like 9:00. I got the Skinwalker Ranch live camera feeds looking for UFOs in the sky. It's great. I'm such a moron. Don't get right. Remember, for 5 months, you guys notice more Weiner fans in our business. They're always crying, dude. They're always crying. Yeah, Mark. See, Mark's starting to like me. Mark hates me. Mark's yucky not. Skinwalker Ranch, no joke, dudes under. It is legit. I love that show. I believe if any of these reality-based documentary shows are ever going to find anything, it's going to be that show. Military's always flying over there, so it's a lot of weird stuff going on there. In all seriousness, I don't know, but it's interesting. I like it. There's nothing else to watch. No Breaking Bad, no Better Call Saul. I mean, what are we supposed to watch? When's our show coming back? The Stallone show.
Tulsa King.
Tulsa Kings. I liked it. It wasn't reality, but
it's a rotation. He's worked on a few shows already. I guess it's in rotation. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. I'm starting to like. I tried not. I know. I grow on you like a cancer. That's what I do.
Jesus.
That's what my wife said. Twiz, thank you for Super Chat. He goes, thanks for all the content, Phil and Joey. Thank you, Twiz.
Sure,
Twiz, you're good, man. Bob Lazar. Oh, Bob Lazar's here just in time. Philly, the Dulce base is in New Mexico, and they do experiments on people, extract a drug called adrenochrome for humans, aliens, little. Yeah, that's what I heard. Did you ever hear the guy? There's a guy that like has like his fingers were melted off, and he does a speech, and he talked about this like. There was this battle underground, and the aliens and them were shooting, and they shot a laser, and it melted his fingers, and his finger like literally missing. They wind up killing that guy. I forget the guy's name, but he talks about this battle at Dulce Base, which is interesting. Yeah, the Bob Lazar guy's interesting. Yeah, Joey's like, what the hell? You haven't watched something about Mary yet, so I think we're allowed to talk about alien stuff now on YouTube. I think that's allowed, so we should be okay.
Well, we'll find out.
Well, yeah, we'll find out. Rogue, what's going on here? He goes, hey, guys, you should make a Big Dom shirt. Maybe Big Dom, the Nick Whisperer, or Nick Tamer. I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's good. Yeah, Phil Schneider. See, Mark? I knew I liked Mark. I know he knows. Yeah, Phil Schneider's that. Look, check him out, dude. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. But as you could tell, I guess we're out of Eagles topics for the day. Is there anything else, Joe, you want to talk about before we get out of here?
No, I'm good.
Discoveries or anything like that?
We got one more show, and that's it. That is it.
Yeah, one more, and then we go on break for about a month. So it'll be interesting. This is the time for us to kind of charge up for the season. Because the season's going to be crazy.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
That's 2 minutes.
So Anyways, guys, let me thank everybody for being here. We appreciate it so much. We thank you guys. And with that said, we got one more super Twits, man. Thank you, Twits. Thank you so much, man. He goes 1542 off of the 13 goats. I'm living good off 60 acres. Go birds, man. 60 acres. That's what I need. I need to go
away from everybody.
Yeah, especially if everything goes to hell in a handbag, dude.
And
it's kind of crazy out there right now.
By the way, definitely check out the Philly Shakedown merch as well. We have a bunch of new designs coming out. We have a Quinion. What do we have?
Quinion Mitchell. Yeah, a Quinion Mitchell and a Quinion. A bunch of stuff.
Bunch of stuff coming out, and a big release of multiple shirts coming out before the season starts. And we're very excited to unveil all that. So if you guys haven't checked out, link in the description for the store. We appreciate it so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
And,
yeah, absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we are going to. Am I a fan of? I watch all those Ancient Alien stuff. I have my own theory on some of that stuff, but I do watch it. I get caught up in all that stuff, man. I love that kind of stuff. It's great. I just to think about the possibilities is crazy. But do an alien stream, I might. I got to grow the Rumble channel. That's where I want to put my more controversial stuff, because if I was allowed to do it, I would talk conspiracy. If they didn't get in trouble, there's so much stuff I would talk about, but just not allowed. But definitely do an alien stream. That's right. He really runs a kitten mill. My wife does. Yes.
It's a sweatshop. It's a Chinese sweatshop.
It is, man. We don't play here. But no, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I don't know if I'll have a video out or not tomorrow. I still got a bunch of yard work to do, so I don't know, but maybe I will. What about you? You got anything tomorrow?
Probably I have a video coming out in the morning, and other than that, that's really it. I have doing some other stuff. So getting stuff done that we normally can't get done during the year. So it's the time of the year for that.
Yeah. Princess Gamer says, got conspiracy for you, 500. Oh, definitely. I definitely will, because I would love to hear what they are. All right, guys. With that said, we are going to let you guys go. We're going to let the Cowboys cry and take us out. And with that said, you guys have a great, great night. And we'll find out what's behind the mesa.
Peace.
You got plenty of time.
Come on.
Oh, shit! Dad! No!
It's over! It's over! This game is over! Cut it off! It's over!
Fuck.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay! Congratulations, Green Bay!
I said run the ball.
Congratulations, Green Bay! Dak Prescott, you need to be fired today! That was on you, Dad! That was on you, Dad! That was on you, Dad!
I said run the ball.
That was on Dak Prescott!
Where
Trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! Trying to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You tried to defend the CeeDee Lamb! You got to give it to CeeDee Lamb! God! It's over! It's over, Dad! Put Trey Lance in the game. Trey Lance can't do worse than you.
I'm an idiot because I buy into this shit. I buy into this shit. Because here's the thing. I am a grown-ass man. And I talk the talk. It is killing me.
I feel it coming. I feel like it's going to take Jerry Jones taking it. Cut it off. It's over.
Dude, what the fuck?
The Cooper! The flying
God. Oh my God.
C'est bon! C'est bon! I'm dizzy. We did it. We transformed the Philadelphia Eagles secondary. We now have a secondary that is going to be good for years to come. Because one, we got Quinion Mitchell, but we also got the flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean. That's right. The flying Frenchman, Cooper DeJean, says a ball. Oh, here's another interception. That's right. Cooper DeJean is about to dominate the NFL. Can't wait to see him out on the field. And if you're like me and you thought this was a great move by the Eagles and you support this pick, then you definitely want to check out this shirt. The Cooper DeJean Flying Frenchman shirt. Look at this thing. You can see it in midair, flying through the air, transforming to an eagle. That's right. Cooper DeJean is here. Link is in the description. Get your shirt now while you can, because Cooper DeJean is about to